So I'm having a chat with Jack J Hutchinson. How are you?
I'm really good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks so much. So we've been playing a new single of yours called Bullets. Tell us a little bit about the single, first of all.
Yeah, well, it's sort of well, it originally began as a kind of acoustic blues tune. That's how I originally wrote it, and then sent the track off to my producer Josiah Manning, and then he sent me back a reworked version of it where he turned it into this sort of full throttle 3 minute pop rock tune. So it went through quite a transformation. I was aiming for kind of Muddy Waters, and he was aiming more for Guns N' Roses. So we had quite a mix there going on. But I really like it. It's a great song. I really enjoy singing it. It's got some good lyrics that are a lot of fun to belt out. So yeah, it's a good track.
Yeah, great stuff. And that's coming off your new record, which is out on the 9th of February called Battles. What can people expect to hear when they get a chance to take a listen?
Well, there's quite a lot of tracks that sound a lot like Bullets, full throttle rock and roll. But I think, my last couple of albums have been a little bit on the heavier side of things. And I was originally a blues artist, so I've tried to reintroduce a bit of that as well. So there's some softer, more kind of gentle blues playing on there as well. So there's a good mix of stuff on this one, I think, that takes the listener on a bit more of a journey.
Good. And the sound that you've created with this record, was it the plan to create that sound, or is it simply just how it turned out?
Well, it was originally meant to be a kind of Americana blues record, and we just got a bit carried away with the guitars in the studio. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun to record. I think, I've done quite a few albums now, and this one, most artists say this, don't they? Like, my new record was the most fun to do, but I think that the songs are a bit more positive with this record. So in fact, it was just a joy to be in the studio with Josiah and Billy Hammett, who did the drums on the record as well, and just sort of let it all out. And I think there's some stuff that will be familiar to existing fans of mine, but hopefully it'll bring a few new people along as well.
Yeah, good. And do you think you've found your sound now with all these records of yours that are out there, or do you think there's more scope to try more and new things?
Yeah, I think that it's taken. Yeah, you go on a journey as an artist, and I think every record has its sort of place in your evolution. But um, I think this one more than any of the others is me. It sounds like me. I think that there was a lot of work that we did on the vocals on this record, which kind of pushed me in a different way. Josiah, the producer's wife, Charlotte, is a vocal coach, so I worked with Charlotte a little bit on this record as well, trying to find those keys that would give me a bit more sort of strength in the vocals and a bit more tone and texture. So yeah, it felt like it was me, and it didn't feel like I was. You know, wearing it on my sleeve, the sort of inspiration, those guitarists that have inspired me over the years. I think perhaps on previous records, you might hear a bit of the Zach Wild influence, you might hear a bit of that kind of John Squire stuff, Jimmy Page. But with this new one, it seems to me that it's more Jack J Hutchinson.
Nice, nice. So when it comes to writing music, how do tracks normally start off for you?
I write a lot on acoustic guitar, and I've always found if I try and write on electric, I focus on writing a load of riffs and less on the vocal melodies.
Mm.
So I try to use that as the basis for every track. And if it works on an old beaten up acoustic guitar, hopefully there's a melody there that will be even better when you put a wall of guitars on the finished version. So yeah, I write a lot. I when I go running or go for a walk, I actually find melodies come out that way. I wrote a song this morning actually when I just woken up. It just kind of came in my head, and I think sometimes the best songs are written when you're not even holding an instrument. And I've always been obsessed with melody, and I think that if you focus a little bit too much on showing off as a guitar player, you end up with a bit of a track that perhaps is appealing to people who like flash guitar, but there's no melody to speak of. So
Mm.
that's where I come from.
Yeah, good. And with the lyrics side of things, how easy do you find it to create lyrics to your music?
Pretty easy. I mean, a lot of the time, again, it's the lyrics that start the tracks, and I think I don't try and approach stuff in too much of a sort of preconceived idea of what I want the album to sound like. Um, I try to write from a really personal perspective. So a lot of my lyrics are about life experience because I always think, I've got to go out and tour these songs for a year, 2 years. And if they don't mean anything to me, how am I going to be able to deliver that night after night? And so, whether it be writing about a failed relationship or even writing about falling out with all your bandmates, it could be anything that you're writing about. And I think that as long as you're truthful, those lyrics will hopefully resonate with other people.
Yeah, for sure. People will want to see you playing these tracks live, and over the next few weeks, and continuing that into April and May as well. You're out on the road. I bet you can't wait to be touring again.
Yeah, we've started rehearsals this week, which has been a lot of fun because we're obviously introducing a whole batch of new material. I mean, it was difficult last year because we were out on the road a lot, but we were kind of having to keep a lid on the new songs because it was like we don't want to play them too much before the album's out. So yeah, we've got the album launch at the O2 Academy 2, Islington, and then we kind of head out all over the place. We're going to Blackpool, playing a great festival called Love Live the day after, and then Bedford, Leicester, we're going to Winchester, Edinburgh, and then we've got some more dates that we're going to announce in May, which will kind of be the tail end of the actual album tour. But yeah, really excited to go on the road.
Yeah, nice. And speaking of festivals, are you hoping to have a busy festival season this summer?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had a really busy festival season last year, and actually, festivals are kind of so different to being out on the road and doing a tour. It's really a different approach. These kind of shows where, when you're doing a headline tour and you can turn up at the venues and sort of take 4 hours over your sound check and then, really be quite precise over stuff. I like the Challenger festivals where you're in the middle of a field where you're I mean we were particularly hit badly by weather last year where we played a festival in Switzerland where there was a thunderstorm right as we were playing and there was a power cut and there's all this kind of the top of the stage sort of semi collapsed on the drummer, so it was very Spinal Tap, but hopefully we won't have too bad a weather this summer. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All your dates are currently UK based. Are you hoping to be venturing overseas as well?
Yeah, I did some shows over in America last year, which was the second time I've been over to the States, and so we're looking at trying to do because I did it as a solo act last year. I think it'd be cool to go over there with the full band and get Phil and Charlie, my band, over there with me. I just love going to America. I think it's really great, and playing places like I played over in Los Angeles. That was kind of a dream come true. Um, albeit most of the time I was zipping around LA looking at film locations and trying to find the Die Hard building and that kind of thing. But yeah, and obviously going back over to Europe, we were supposed to do some dates over in Spain in the autumn, but we've decided to kind of rejig that and do that this year. So they're happening when the album's out. Um, but yeah, which should be a lot of fun. It'll be the first time I've been back to Europe really since COVID. So
Mm.
it'd be really exciting to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Jack, it's been a pleasure having a catch up with you.
You too, mate, and thank you so much for having me on the show.